Dave here with Limitless Brave. Gents, you've been lied to, you've been controlled, and you've been manipulated to hide and repress the best masculine traits that you have to appease other people, to make sure that you're not too much. And ultimately, what does this cause? It creates a lack of lasting attraction when it comes to dating. It costs you the job promotion. It costs you the sales in your business. It's not a great place to be, guys. Since you were a boy, you've been taught strength is bad. You can't be stronger or better than somebody else. And that leadership is controlling and coercive. And that your intensity is just too much. So put it away, hide it. You know how it is. Everybody gets the trophy. Nobody's celebrated for being the most aggressive, the victor, the true winner. You got to repress all that to make sure everybody else doesn't feel bad. So you end up becoming the consummate nice guy, the guy that is always seeking approval and permission, the guy who's afraid to take the lead, the guy who hides his intensity because it's too much for other people. The guy who avoids conflicts at all costs and hides his anger and his passion for things just to appease others. Here's the thing, guys. Women don't deal with your weakness disguised as kindness. They're looking for decisive, directed clarity when it comes to your own masculine. And it's easier to get on board and connect with that guy and be a part of his life. See, most of you are afraid to become the toxic masculine, which the toxic masculine is a show of insecurity, where the embodied masculine is powerful. It moves without having to say anything. It moves others without having to say anything. It's felt, and it moves with direction, intent, control. See, when the grounded, embodied masculine man says, trust me, I've got this, people hop on board with that guy really quick. When the toxic masculine guy who's putting on a show, who is doing everything out of insecurity, well, people have a hard time getting on board with him. He has to convince, he has to try to charm and manipulate a lot. Where the embodied masculine, people feel it. They experience it physically. They can see that it's directed, that it's clear. It understands what its role is. And so that makes it much easier to hop on board with a embodied masculine guy to go on a date, to lead a board meeting, to make the sale in your company when sales have been difficult, to hold that vision together for the business when times are tough and times are lean. People can get behind that guy really easy. But you get the freaked out, insecure, toxic masculine guy, good luck. It's going to be a rough ride if you get on board with that guy. It's not going to be pleasant, that's for sure. So how do we develop the embodied, well-rounded masculine man? Well, first, it starts with looking in the shadows, looking in the shadow part of yourself, doing shadow work, looking at the difficult things that you don't want to see, admitting the difficult things that you've been through. That's what really helps the masculine start to become well-rounded, to accept who he is, what he's been through, what he's about. And it's not done out of shame. It's not done out of anger. It's done to create rock solid internal strength no matter what you've been through. See, when you don't handle the shadow parts of yourself, the anger, the shame, the fear, the frustration, it comes leaking out of you and people get poisoned by it. Now, that might sound a little harsh, but that's why people pull away from us. That's why people don't trust us. That's why people don't want to hang out with us. Women don't want to date us. It's because of this leak of things that have been unresolved within inside of you that cause problems in your life. Where other guys who have done the work, who have resolved these internal strifes and issues, life's much easier for them People follow them, women date them, they make good money, they have a great career because they've taken the path that is actually more difficult. And by doing the more difficult thing, you set yourself up for an easier life in the future. Women feel a man's masculinity, and if it feels solid to her or it doesn't. If there's pinholes in it, kind of like Swiss cheese, she's gonna know that. And the guys who are not solid, the guys who are skeptical of their own power, their own masculinity, who don't feel really solidly put together, those guys get a lot of tests when it comes to women. They get a lot of pushback. They also get a lot of pushback from other men. See, the solid, well-rounded masculine, not much bothers him because he doesn't react to other people's insecurities. He doesn't react when people are poking at him, when women are testing him, when shit hits the fan in the business or the career. He can handle it. Doesn't matter what's going on. And people fall into his kind of gravitational pull because he is so solid, because he is so calm, because he is very directed and knows what's going on. Even if he makes mistakes within that grounded, present experience, very few people, if any, will even notice it, first of all, or condemn him for making a mistake. See, when you address your shadow, your anger becomes your mission. Your fear becomes your own personal bravery. And your shame, that becomes realness. That becomes authenticity. That becomes originality. And all of that forms a very nice presence. And that presence, that's what's magnetic. Now, the shadow is just one component to building a well-rounded man. The other part is embodiment. And believe me, women know the difference immediately between a guy who's embodied and a guy who isn't. See, non-embodied guys, they live up here in their head. They're very analytical. They don't emote much. They don't connect with other people that well. And women are turned off by that mostly. See, the guy who's embodied, that can feel through the torso, down through the legs, into the ground, and doesn't live up here. He's much more attractive, much more real, much more authentic to a woman. Because women feel more than we do. And so that is their gauge for safety. So when a man feels good to them, it's easy to let him in without putting up a wall, without testing him that much. But the guy who's up here living analytically, he's getting all the shit test, he's getting the wall, he's getting the distrust, because the woman cannot feel him. And when you're not embodied, that affects your posture, the way you move, the way you look. You know, are you walking with your head up high, with your chest proud, or are you slumped over, feeling weak and bad for yourself? Now, I don't get much into body language because it can lie quite a bit. And it has to be tested over and over again to kind of find a real truth to it. But it doesn't change the fact that people judge us when we look a certain way when it comes to posture. And when we can feel our bodies, when we can emote, when we own our past history, when we own who we are, see, women can't deny that. That's authenticity. That's magnetically attractive. That's what women are looking for. So I know many of you guys don't really do the work. You poke around with half-assed coaches, quite honestly, who don't get you the results that they promise, or add theory or esoteric ideas to their coaching that don't serve you, but just boost their ego so that they can look like some kind of guru to you. Versus the work that I do is very practical, very real, and is results oriented. So when you come to work with me, be ready to get the results that you're looking to get. Now, this is very scary to some guys because the fear of getting something that you actually want can sometimes be more scary than not getting it. Because now you have a responsibility to maintain that new life, to rise to a higher energetic level. And that's very scary for some men. Guys, I'm not trying to scare you. Some of this work can be scary stuff because you're facing a lot of your fears, a lot of your worries, a lot of your frustrations. And when you go out and work with someone, whether they're a good coach or not, what matters is that you're trying to move the ball down the field to get the goal for yourself. And that is what matters. And if you're interested in doing something like this, join me in Bucharest, October 26th, for a Masculine Mindset live seminar. We're going to have demos. We're going to have different activities for you guys. We're going to be working on embodiment, shadow work. We're going to be doing some demos with the Limitless Brave models. You guys will be able to participate as well. And if you guys want to hang out with my special guest, Dom Swee from Two Wolves Coaching, we're putting on a private VIP dinner that night. So you can come and hang out with us, but seats are limited for the VIP dinner. There's only 10 available, guys. So I hope to see you in Bucharest. I hope you face those fears. Come meet us, come hang out with us. One of the coolest things that men take home from these events is a sense of community, a sense of understanding that they're not alone anymore in the world with the problems that they're dealing with. Because so many men have the same problems, but just don't talk about it. So when you get into a room with myself and my special guest Dom and the other men that show up to these events, you start to realize you're not so isolated from the world. You're not so much what some guys consider themselves freak, right? You're not weird. You're like, oh, other guys have these same problems. Oh, they might have worked through it this way. They might have worked through it that way. And it's a great place to be. It's a great community. Now, if you're not ready to come to an event, I understand that. Come check out my work. Check out my Limitless Brave private reserve community. The link is in the description. And I'm also going to put the link to the Masculine Mindset Live in Bucharest. The link to that will be in the description. So I hope you guys pony up, face your demons, come out to the seminar, learn a tremendous amount about yourself, what you perceive that is wrong with you, which a lot of times it's really not, guys, honestly. You guys believe it is because nobody's told you otherwise. And get your learn on, see some demos, participate in demos, and just have a good time. And of course, if you want to hang out with Dom and I, grab that VIP dinner ticket. All right, guys, see you in Bucharest.